Rape is such a devastating thing to experience. It ruins and it really attacks your psyche.
Hmm.
It kills your spirit. And so when you talk to victims, they'll tell you that the physical isn't the worst part. It's what it does to your soul.
It's a violation of the spirit, of the human spirit.
Yeah.
Behavioral Health Integrations podcast strives to inspire the next generation of mental health and addiction specialists. Our aim is to continue to raise awareness and encourage collaboration in the mental health and addiction industry so that it will continue to thrive. There are numerous approaches to treating mental health and substance abuse issues. On this show, we take pleasure in showcasing the diversity of these approaches used to improve the lives of others. So without further ado, your host, Jacob Menig.
Well, Crystal, again, thank you so much for being on the show. I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I see that you're in New Mexico right now.
Yes, I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
I've always wanted to go to New Mexico just because I'm a huge fan of dry heat. I've only ever been to that area when I was in Vegas, but I assume it's somewhat similar, right?
Similar, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have lots of dry heat for sure.
I mean, that's just me because I've spent most of my life in humidity and I absolutely hate it. And when I experienced dry heat, it was an amazing thing.
I know, and I'm opposite. I love the humidity. I mean, it's great for your skin.
Is it? Is it really? I didn't know
Yes,
that.
it's great for your skin. That's why like some people that live in the South just have beautiful skin because they've got that humidity all the time.
Okay. Interesting. I did not know that. Yeah, just to get started and everything, again, we all know you have a lot of military experience. Growing up, was there anything that really motivated you to want to be in the military?
My
Okay.
godfather was he served during World War II. Yeah, he was actually a prisoner of war
Oh,
and survived the Bataan Death March. So I grew up listening to his stories and was pretty much the only father I knew until he passed away when I was 22. That's where my desire to serve came from. Every year in New Mexico, we have a Bataan Death March, kind of like I want to say it's like a marathon or something.
mm-hmm.
But you can come out and I believe it's 26 miles in the desert, and you can do it with a ruck or without. You can run it or you can walk it. But we do that every year too, just to honor
Oh, wow.
our survivors.
What was his job in the military? What was his branch and everything? Or
He was a sergeant in the army.
okay.
He was an infantry soldier. So when he got captured, he was he got in a lot of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
They were always trying to, be clever and to trick the Japanese, like in any way, trying to escape all the time. Him and his battle buddies got caught taking the firing pins out of the rifles of the Japanese soldiers. And I love that story
Wow.
just because, he was just like, he's like, screw them. They thought they were smarter than us. He's like, but we knew the weapon systems better than they did. Yeah. But yeah, he was a sergeant in the army.
Okay. You were in the army too, right?
I was in the Army National Guard. I
Okay.
served for 16 and a half years. 13 of those years I was full time. So I was on active duty operational support.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a lot of really cool stuff. I don't think people give the National Guard enough credit. There's all kinds of names for us, right? Weekend warriors and we're lazy and all these things. But in fact, we do a lot for our communities. When anytime there's a natural disaster or anything that, where our state needs our support, we leave our jobs and, whether we're school teachers or social workers, dentists, I mean, whatever job we have, we leave our job and we report for state duty and we are there for our community.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked in my unit, primary unit was a WMD unit. So we actually supported like the Southwest FEMA region. We responded to natural disasters all the way
Oh,
in
wow.
Texas. And we trained with the Puerto Rico weapons of mass destruction team.
Wow.
We did a lot of support stuff for like the Super Bowls, for NASCAR.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a really great experience with all the different jobs I did. At 24 years old, I was on the Southwest border running operations for the Innovative Readiness Training Program, which is a DoD program. And what that does is it helps get soldiers ready to go to war. So it kind of acclimates them, provides them with kind of like a desert-like experience.
Okay.
We would rotate construction engineer units to come out, and they would work on the border, whether it was working on the fence line
Mm-hmm.
or supporting programs like the Navajo Habitat for Humanity.
That's really
And they have,
cool.
they're working in desert-like environments, getting ready for what it's like downrange.
So it's not just physical, but you're almost like psychologically preparing them too.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I think the military just kind of does a good job of psychologically getting us ready for whatever comes our way, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We're just trained to adapt to any environment that we're put in.
And I know later we're going to talk about like trauma, PTSD, but I know earlier in what you just said, you already gained experience helping people in need. Is that like where you got your first experience trying to help people like dealing with the trauma that they were going through and trying to help them in many different ways?
Yeah, I was a platoon sergeant.
Hmm.
So during my time as a platoon sergeant kind of taught me a lot about just meeting the needs of my soldiers. I had here in New Mexico, we're a fairly poor state, so I had a lot of soldiers that they relied on their drill paychecks for, that income. And I was always doing like fundraisers and stuff. So like if I had a soldier having a baby, we'd,
Hmm.
gather money to help support, provide some support so that they can buy some Pampers or formula or whatever. And then in 2009, I was asked to be the victim advocate for the sexual assault program. And I went to this 40-hour training, and I was just absolutely blown away that we had such a big problem with sexual violence in our military because that was
Hmm.
not my experience. I mean, I guess I was very fortunate to have worked with some pretty awesome professionals because never during my time here in the New Mexico National Guard did I ever have issues with harassment or anything like that.
So that was 2009.
In 2009 is when I took on that role.
How long has that program been in existence though, in general?
The Army started the SHARP program in 2008, and then it just
2008.
took the National Guard, I think, a year to kind of catch on because it takes us a while to catch on to stuff. We're like the stepchildren.
When you started working in that program, like what were your like biggest shocks or biggest obstacles when you first got in there?
I was just surprised that we had such a big problem with it in our military because like I said, it wasn't my experience. I really didn't run into a lot of problems as far as the advocacy went for that. I kind of learned that there really isn't a whole lot of justice happening. So my goal was just to get, the soldiers into either, rehab because they had turned to drugs and alcohol to cope. And so my goal was just to make sure that they were getting the mental health care that they needed because rape is such a devastating thing to experience. It ruins and it really attacks your psyche.
Hmm.
It kills your spirit. And so when you talk to victims, they'll tell you that the physical isn't the worst part. It's what it does to your soul.
Like a
And
violation of the spirit, of the human spirit in a
yeah,
sense.
yeah. So when I was put in that role, it wasn't so much about the justice, right? Because the system is broken. It's always been broken. And
Hmm.
I kind of just knew that fighting for justice that really wasn't gonna be the answer. So my goal was just to make sure that they got the care that they needed.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's really hard because I'm experiencing a lot of like anger and emotions right now because of like people like that who end up in that situation where it's just like, yeah, like you said, you want to fix the system and prevent that from happening in the first place. But then how do you do that when I'm sure it happens in every branch, Air Force, military,
Yeah.
Marines, and
Yeah. It's a big problem across the board. And it's still a big problem. In this last couple of years, the Department of Defense has changed the way that they handle sexual assaults. However, it's going to take, I don't know, 20 years to get it right. And 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 I don't even know if they'll even get it right then because even though um they took the responsibility away from the command, it still follows under the Department of Defense. So like right now, I've got two young ladies that I've been advocating for
hmm.
4 years now, since 2020. A reserve soldier She experienced she was assaulted at Fort Indiantown Gap, and she was a reservist, and she was attending an active duty school, and
Okay.
um, she was assaulted by an active duty um, E6. She's an E4, and so this happened like 3 years ago.
Okay.
She still hasn't had her day in court, and the I think they're called special victims counselors.
Okay.
I'm not, or sexual assault counselors. I don't even know the terminology, but they have been trying to convince her multiple times to just allow for an administrative separation. And I keep telling her, I'm like, no, you tell them no, no, absolutely not, because that's not the answer. Because
What does that even mean? Is that like brushing it under the table, or what
yeah,
does
that's
that even
exactly it.
mean?
Yeah, and what you're doing is you're giving them a slap on the wrist. It's like, no, they should be nailed to a wall and the rest of their life
Amen.
be ruined. You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely. And by the way, you could swear on my podcast if you want to. I don't care.
okay. All right. Yeah, it's like, no, no, you deserve to have you don't get retirement benefits. You don't get, you know, especially he was the individual that assaulted her was an E6. And as a non-commissioned officer, it's in our creed, we will not use our grade or position for personal for pleasure, profit, or personal safety.
Hmm.
So he violated the values that we stand for, and it's like, nope, nope, you deserve to be nailed to a wall, bro. And
Absolutely.
I don't these administrative separations that they're doing, that's not acceptable. No, it's not enough. No, no, and
I'm,
they need to put on this sex offenders. They
yeah,
need to register as sex offenders. Yeah, so that
100%.
so that Have you seen the girl with the dragon tattoo?
I've heard of it. I've seen bits. I know people say I gotta see it. It's
You got to see it. Well, like
gets revenge.
she tattoos rapist like on his chest,
Oh, okay.
and she's like, and then violates him. And I'm not saying like that's the answer, but it's like if you've done it once, you're gonna do it again,
Yeah.
and those are those crimes. I don't know, they're unforgivable
It's
in my.
hard. Like, so when we're having this conversation, like I want to be like the most least sexist and whatnot because men can get raped too. But just
Oh,
asking you, like, all your clients or the individuals that you work with are women, right? Or are there some men?
yeah, I did have one. I did have one infantry soldier who was sodomized with a broomstick, and he was like jumped by a bunch of,
Oh,
and it really
oh my God.
him up, like psychologically. And so I did have one male soldier who was, yeah, he was violated in the worst ways.
My God.
It's Yeah, and it's like and they were like, oh well, it was just hazing. There's
Mm,
nothing funny about that. There is nothing funny about that. Nope.
that's disgusting. That is just disgusting. And like another thing I was gonna ask you, like when you hear these stories, does there always appear to be like a theme where it always happens to someone where the perpetrator is a higher rank? Like it's like a power thing doing it to a lower rank person?
It's all over the board. It's because rape is about power,
Yep.
and so um, there's lower enlisted that are doing it to each other. It's everywhere. It's all over the board. So I'm not going to say that it's one particular um, you know, higher higher ranking and versus lower ranking. It's all over the board.
Okay.
It's just a horrible thing altogether.
Mhm. I know earlier we were talking about more of like a systems thing, which isn't your thing, but you've had some ideas. In your personal opinion, what do you think on a bigger scale would help with this huge issue that we have in our military system?
I think accountability starts at the top.
Yep.
And I think that it's about leadership because if your leaders are doing the right thing, then, things like that won't happen. Um, I was in an all male unit for about 9 years. And we had some enlisted females that kind of came in and out for like temporary duty stuff. But for that 9 years, I was the only enlisted female that was like actually assigned to the unit. And our first sergeant had like zero tolerance for, like harassment, any of that stuff. And so during that time, I never felt unsafe or
Mm-hmm.
threatened in any way. And also, no one wanted to disappoint him, right? Because he held us all to a very high standard, and we didn't want to disappoint him, so we acted
Right.
right. I mean, we kind of screwed up, little things here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like one time I got in trouble for we had done like 12 hours of training. We were
Yeah.
tired, and we went in. We checked into our hotel, and I don't know why I had the great idea. I was also like really young. I was like in my
Yeah.
early 20s, but we toilet papered the hallways. We were just having fun. But oh my God, the next morning he had us in formation in the parking lot in the rain, front leaning rest for like 30 minutes. He was like, "Y'all are embarrassing." He's like, "Oh man." And I was just like, and
I
we were
think
just in the front leaning rest, just like laughing, but also not laughing because,
I
we
think
got
that's healthy camaraderie though.
it.
Where you're like it was all done as a fun joke and you're all facing the consequences together.
Yeah, I know. Even the people that weren't involved had to face the consequences with this, but I mean, no regrets because we had fun. Yeah, I think we were frustrated because like our keys wouldn't work, so we couldn't get into
Oh.
our rooms, and the elevators were broken, so we were having to like go up and down the stairs, and we were just getting frustrated. So finally, I think I was the one who initiated it, and I was just like, "Fuck this place!" I just like launched a roll of toilet paper down the hallway, and then
Oh, funny.
an all-out toilet paper war.
So
Yeah,
you guys started it and they're like, "Oh wow, okay, let's go."
yeah, and of course it just got out of control, and then the next morning we had to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's okay. Yeah, yeah, it's like, but like I was saying, I think the defining difference is leadership. I think that if your leaders are doing the right things and setting the example, then you're not going to have stuff like assault. Because
Yeah,
where there's respect, there is no assault.
absolutely.
And a lot of these cases are coming out of those really big bases. Um, I mean, it's everywhere, but the worst ones that I've seen are Fort Cavazos, Fort Liberty. Um, those are probably the two that I've seen the most cases out of. But also, I don't have access to the data, so it could be bad in,
Yeah.
in at Fort Campbell, and I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's just bad because I think we have a problem in our society, right? It's not just a military problem. We have a problem in our society.
Yes.
And
Systems, values, like for one human being to think that's okay to do that to another human being, that's a huge fucking problem.
yeah, I mean, we have a huge problem with sex trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, children. There are over 300 million videos of children being raped on the internet. That's ridiculous. Like, that's just,
Disgusting.
God, I can't even wrap my head around that. That's just, oh my gosh. I would be in jail if someone hurt my child.
Mm-hmm.
I will be in jail. Bring me,
Absolutely.
bring me commissary because I
Mm-hmm.
will be in jail. I will go full blown law abiding citizen on your ass if you
Uh-huh.
to harm my child.
Yeah.
Box cutter.
Amen.
Box.
There was sometimes I'll go on TikTok or Instagram, you can just flip through videos, and I guess there was a case in Europe back in the mid 80s where this mother took a gun and went to the courtroom and shot the man who raped
Her
her
child.
daughter, and she
Yeah.
got off of it. Or maybe she did some minimal jail time, but she got off of it right in the courthouse, just shot him to death.
Yeah. I know exactly which one you're talking about. Yep.
Yep.
That would be me.
Yep. And
That would,
hopefully you wouldn't serve any jail time.
no, yeah. And if I did, I don't care.
Right, right.
You're not going to touch my child.
Amen.
Mama bear to my fullest. I will eat you.
Oh yeah. You did 14 years in the military?
16 and a half years.
16 and a half. So when you were done, you went through some like stress, maybe some PTSD of your own?
Yeah, I was pushed out. I experienced like retaliation there in the last 4 years of my career was not good. It
For
was
what
not
you were saying or believing in or
for standing up for myself. I reported my coworker for not doing her job. She had a very important role. By her not showing up to work, it was stopping soldiers from getting into like rehab and stuff. And they weren't being tracked and they were falling through the cracks. And it was just like,
so she just took the day off a bunch of times?
not so much take the day off, she just kind of came and went as she pleased. But she was the daughter of a retired three-star general.
Oh
So
God.
she just, the nepotism, that exists in the National Guard, it's everywhere. Kind of just had this attitude that she can just do whatever she wants.
Untouchable.
Yeah. And ultimately she was. I was isolated and humiliated, and I experienced a lot of harassment, like just things that really, really messed with my mind because
Like intimidation by
oh, big time. Big time. Yeah, you cannot that did not happen. And that's what made it hard for me was them telling me that didn't happen. And so I did. I had my own battles with post-traumatic stress. It didn't happen right away. It didn't set in right away. I started experiencing my symptoms, like the anger, the
Yep.
rage, the depression, probably about 4 years ago. And I've been out for 10 years. So for
Oh.
6 years, I wasn't really thinking about it because I was too busy trying to move on with my life. I had to kind of find myself again when I left the military because that was all I had known. So I had no idea who I was. I only knew Sergeant Romero. So for 6 years, I kind of just was in survival mode, just trying to find a new niche, trying to find,
Hmm.
something new to do. And about 4 years ago is when it just finally just like body slammed me. And
Wow.
I was finally faced with all of the emotions of it too. God, the anger was bad because I had like a delayed realization of how bad and how poorly I was treated.
Hmm.
And the bystander complicity of my command, they just like everybody was like, ooh, I'm not getting involved because I don't want to lose
I
my
want to
job.
save my own ass.
Yep. And that was a hard one to digest. There's a whole lot of I'm sorry's, but not a whole lot of let me fix it. And so that anger just kind of manifested into rage.
Was it betrayal too? Like
Oh,
we're a family, we're a system, like you're supposed to have my back and then you do this.
yeah, moral injury in its rawest form. Moral injury in its rawest form. Because, these were people in positions of authority that completely abused their authority. And just to witness that, and I was raised by these people.
Hmm.
I joined the military at 17 and I was raised into my adulthood by these people. And to watch them stand by and do nothing or even help perpetrate everything, that was a very painful experience for me. And so when it kind of set in, finally, I was kind of faced with it. And then
Hmm.
that's how I knew that I needed to do something about it. So I started, looking into a really good friend of mine. She used to work for Wounded Warrior Project and for TAPS.
Oh, my
So
uncle's an advocate of Wounded Warrior Project, so
yeah, so she was like, hey, contact Save a Warrior, you know, and then I found Heroic Hearts Project, and then I found Boot Campaign, and then I found what's the other one? The Stellate Institute. So in the last 4 years, I've done a lot of work on my mental health. I've been to Peru twice with Heroic Hearts Project. I was really,
okay.
really fortunate to have um, been able to do that because that really, really, really helped a lot. I was really able to find like that self-love again, like my
Yeah.
happiness. Because one of the main symptoms of moral injury is the inability to experience joy.
Yes.
I have a very hard time with that, and I still do. But going to Peru and I did total of 6 ayahuasca ceremonies. I was able to kind of like just, rediscover myself and to see myself for the first time and to forgive myself too
Yeah.
for the for what I had to do and for what I did while I was in survival mode. Because I
Yes.
was awful. Oh God. Anybody who came in my path during that
Mhm.
time, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because I was awful. I was awful. It was like seek and destroy. I felt like what's a girl from Game of Thrones, the
The
Arya?
Queen. Oh no,
Yeah,
Arya. Yes. Yes. The
yeah.
tough.
She like had the list of names. Oh, that was
Yes.
me. That was me all day long.
Yes.
I wanted fucking heads on a spike, man. I was
You wanted
angry.
justice. You wanted justice.
Yeah. I mean, and I still do, but the chances of me getting it are not likely because three of the officers have died.
Oh
So it's kind of hard
no.
to get testimony from dead officers, right? But you know
Oh
what? You know what? I remember my godfather used to because I used to take him to meet up with his buddy for coffee.
yeah.
And I remember one of the things that he said was he says, one of the ways that they survived Baton was they took care of each other.
Hmm.
They leaned on each other. They were each other's lifelines. And I remember him saying, um, you don't leave anybody behind. And if you do, we will kick your ass when we see you
Good.
together
Yeah.
in the afterlife. So you know what? I truly believe that, these people that wronged me, um, when they go into the afterlife, they're gonna have to face my godfather and he don't fuck around.
It kind of seems like karma, like a spiritual karma.
Oh, he's gonna kick your ass when he sees you because, like what they did just
What it's
completely.
funny, a little off top. Like one theory I did hear about like the afterlife is that when you're like dead, you watch your life replay over again and you experience the emotions of every person you harmed. But
Hmm.
you experience that yourself this time, what you've
Yeah,
done to other people.
yeah.
Just a theory that I heard people say.
Yeah. Oh, I believe it. I mean, I'm gonna have to face my own, I mean, I'm by no means an angel and I'm not a saint. I've heard,
Yep.
um, especially during that period of my life from, gosh, like a 10-year period, I was, yeah, I mean, I hurt some people too.
Hmm.
And I did my fair share of damage out in the world as a
Hmm.
result of the damage, that was done to me. It's like, they say hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
And so that's why healing is just so important for me now because I don't want to project that on anybody anymore, especially the people that I love, my kids, my relationships, professional and personal.
Hmm.
That's important for me to heal so that I can, excuse me, put good out into the world, right? Like that's
Yes.
the energy, the hey, let's all heal. Excuse me, I was drinking kombucha, so good. But
Yeah.
that's the energy that I want to put out into the world.
Hmm.
I don't want people to see, the angry, bitter person that was wronged in the military. I don't want to see that. I want them to see someone um who refuses to give up, refuses to lay down and,
Hmm.
let my mental health consume me and take my life, quite frankly. Um, I want to give people that hope, like, hey, it does get better. It does get better. You eventually stop being mad, and you eventually start to experience the joy again. It does come. I mean, it's not all the time.
Hmm.
I'm not over here fucking doing cartwheels and walking around throwing glitter all everywhere.
Hmm.
Not doing any of that.
But you've healed
But
to some degree. You've healed a
yeah,
little bit, or a matter, or however you feel you've done.
yeah. And then sharing my experiences, um, that way other people are, oh, okay, maybe I should try that. I've had 3 stellate ganglion blocks. I've done psychedelic therapy. I've done, um, like, I just got back on Monday I was in Boston for 2 weeks. I was at home base, which is a intensive care, um, clinic for veterans that have PTSD.
Oh, wow.
I was there with, there was in my cohort, there was 14 of us. There was 4 special operators, and there's still, there were some active duty folks that were there, and other retirees and some other veterans, and we all, regardless of our status and our jobs, we all had one thing in common, and that was trauma and the pain from the trauma. And it'll consume you if you don't take care of yourself. It will absolutely take you down. So my mission is me. I am the mission now, and taking care of myself. Hell yeah, I'm fucking self-absorbed and selfish. Absolutely, because I am Team Crystal.
There you
All
go.
the way, all the way. And if I can share my experiences so that helps someone else get a better understanding of what the process is like, then hey, then I'm doing pretty good.
Amen. Well, Crystal, I had such an amazing time with you on the show. I definitely want to have you on again sometime in the near future.
Yeah.
But
We can do a part 2, and then maybe you can stitch them together or something. I know we didn't have too much time, but
yeah,
yeah. Just let me know. I'm pretty free these days. I'll make some time.
definitely. For the audience though, if they do want to get a hold of you, is there any type of website or email they could use to make contact with you, or other social media?
Yeah. I have a website, travelsforchocolate.com.
Yeah.
I do a lot of writing. Um, I share a lot of my experiences there. And then I'm on LinkedIn, Crystal C. Romero. That's where I do a lot of my advocacy too. And those are my 2 main places that you can find me. I have a YouTube
Oh,
channel too.
yes, yes, you do.
It's like it's a Little Miss Chris 22, I think, is my YouTube channel. I don't know, just Google me, and my
Yeah,
Serve Like Benavides will pop up, and then also
yeah.
my UNC webinar that I just did on moral injury will pop up. So
Beautiful. And for my audience, I'll make all the links in there on the show notes. So everything she said will be one click away. So it'll be easy access to that message. And
thanks.
yeah,
Well, thank you. Thanks, Jacob. Thanks for having me. And
I had so much fun.
yeah, I love what you're doing. Keep doing it. Keep doing
Thank
it.
you.
It's needed.
Much appreciated.
All right.
Again, I just want to say it has been an absolute honor having Crystal on the show. She was truly a blessing, and I had so much fun with her. I just want to thank all of my listeners for your support, and just to inform everyone that the information expressed in this episode was not meant to be taken as therapeutic advice. If you do find yourself struggling with any type of mental health or addiction issues, please seek the care of a medical doctor or a licensed mental health therapist. And if anyone has any further questions for me, you can reach me at my email address, behaviorhealthintegration121@gmail.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn at Jacob Minig, where you will find more educational posts on psychotherapy, trauma, and addiction. And finally, you can follow me on my website, which is behaviorhealthintegration.org. I also want to inform everyone that there is a great new device out there called Camigo. It's a breathing device meant to control and manage your breathing rates and the depth of your breathing as you inhale and exhale to, again, help relieve any type of anxiety and stress-like symptoms. And if you do put the BHI podcast into the promo code, you get $30 off this amazing device. It is a once-in-a-lifetime deal, and you will not be disappointed. All right, everyone, until next time, have a good day. Bye.